Hey guys, so today we're going to be looking at a Sharp 14KV465. It is a 13-inch CRT from the 80s, and you can see that it's got some pretty severe damage to the case on the top there. It was safe from the recycler, the local one. A buddy of mine grabbed it for me. And we were both interested in it because it was this really striking red color. You really don't see CRTs that are red like this from the factory. So here I am giving it a little cleanup. But basically my goals for this TV was to kind of, first of all, see if it worked. Second was to check the picture quality and see if it was worth keeping around. And third was to see if it could be modified to support any additional inputs, because stock this TV only supports RF, which is like old. It supports VHF and UHF. It has a tuner inside, which you'll see later. It's kind of cool. There's a display on the front that shows the channel, but it has the tuner input and it has composite. And so when I saw it had composite, I was immediately interested because it normally means that there's a jungle chip inside that potentially supports S-video. On a TV this old, I wouldn't expect it to have an OSD of any kind, so RGB modding it is really not in the realm of possibility. You could inject RGB directly to the neck board, but that's not something that this TV is worth doing. S-video would more than suffice for a TV this old. So you can see I took the back cover off here, and we're going to take a quick look inside at the tube there. Yep, there's the model number, Sharp tube. And so as usual with TVs picked up from the recycler, they cut the cord off the back because it wasn't removable. So I just threw on another cord that I had laying around from the last TV I worked on. And there's the piece that I took off the board that they had cut. And so now I'm going to go ahead and give it some power and see if it works at all. Oh, we have high voltage and nothing exploded. I see snow, so I'm going to turn it off. Turn off the power supply. Okay. So there's that. There's the input. Okay, there's a TV video switch on the front that I just hit. So now we're going to turn on the N64. Oh, yeah, it works. Okay, let's pull up 240p test suite here. Alright, so you can see the limitations of composite. This text looks like freaking garbage. Color bars. Okay, so yeah, the saturation's super high, so probably the contrast is blown out. Whoops, that doesn't work in this test. Grid, way overscanned. I can't even see the red. Okay, let's see. There's some adjustments on the front, so let's see what we have access to. We have let me turn autofocus back on for a second here. We have brightness, color, tint, and picture. Picture seems to be contrast, and tint is just changing the color space. Hey, stop touching that button. And then color is saturation, and brightness is obviously brightness. So yeah, we can improve things quite a bit just by playing with these front adjustments here. So here it is with just the front controls turned down. Obviously the overscan is still god awful, but let's go into a game here and just see what it looks like. I'm just curious. Well, it doesn't look too bad. Now that I turned down the brightness and stuff, it's less blown out, so it's actually more readable than it was before. Speaker works. So I don't really know what my goal for this CRT really is. I guess just because it looks so cool and it's got so much character, I want to see, you know, what I can get out of it, if anything, as far as video quality. And you know, it's pretty old. It's from the 80s, but it does have a chroma chip all the way back in there, which my phone is too low battery to turn on the light, but you can see it's a Sharp X0600CE chroma chip, and I really couldn't find anything online about it. However, I did find a more modern replacement that was produced by NTE Electronics, which is a company that tends to reproduce a lot of old transistors and ICs, which, you know, is really cool. So you can get a modern drop-in replacement, you know, that's functionally the same as the old one if the chip dies. And this chip's still working fine, but the important thing is, because NTE made that replacement, I found NTE's data sheet for it, because the original data sheet for this Sharp is not online anywhere that I could find. But looking at this newer data sheet, we can actually get the pinout for the original Sharp chip. So if we scroll down, here's all 64 pins, and most of it's, you know, just general stuff. Here's the RGB output. It doesn't have RGB input. You know, blah blah blah, stuff we don't care about. Here is the sync input. Here is the composite video input, and here pin 49 says chroma input. So that leads me to believe that if I hook up the chroma from S video to here, pin 49, and the Luma to, I don't know, maybe pin 53 for video, or maybe one of the sync pins, I might be able to get this TV to process S video, which would be sweet. That would be a massive improvement from Composite. I may also be able to get it to do RGB by pushing RGB directly into the neck, but without a schematic for the TV, that's kind of a fool's errand. I don't know that that's a good use of my time. S video should be more than enough for this set to really improve it and make it usable for someone else. So let's see if we can get S video working. So for testing, I cut off a female S video cable that I had off of a really old USB analog like recording device for a computer that I don't use anymore. So I cut the S video off so I could get this nice female DIN 4 connector, and then I put a little dip header on the other end of it that's got the Luma, the chroma, and the ground. So now I just need to look up a pinout to figure out which one of these wires is Luma and which one's chroma. And then I'm going to wire a female connector for this to plug into on the board, just for testing. Okay, so here's the wiring for test number 1. What I did was I put chroma into pin 49, which is labeled chroma on the data sheet I have, and then I put ground into pin 50, which is labeled ground, and then I put the Luma into the video input pin 53. If that doesn't work, it's also possible that Luma needs to go into pin 57 over here, which is the sync separator input. So we're going to test this first, and then we're going to try moving Luma over if it doesn't work. And then so I have this female connector now to connect that S video cable that I made, so let's do that. Alright, so this is what I'm getting with a white Wii screen. So I'm guessing that the sync needs to go somewhere else, so let's move it. Okay, so I plugged in the S video again after changing which plug I was using for luminance, and now I'm just getting a blank screen. But if I unplug the S video, the CRT changes tone, so it sounds like it's trying to process the signal. So then what I decided to test was I decided to take my composite cables for another system, you know, just to plug something in, see what would happen. So I plug in the composite for my N64 and I get a picture from my N64, but you'll notice that it's not syncing. And the color is being driven by, it's basically showing me the luminance from composite. And it's trying to use the sync from my S-video input, which is weird. Everything is showing white. I wonder if it would benefit me to open 240p test suite. Maybe I'll be able to tell something. Okay, so now as you can see, I'm just in the 240p test suite. We're looking at the front of the monitor using a mirror. And I'm going to go ahead and plug in S-video. And so with S-video plugged in, we now have a rolling picture and loss of color. Let's try switching the pins. Progress update. I've been randomly fucking around with what pins I'm feeding what to, and I don't know if you can tell, but that is the Wii menu that I'm seeing. I can't tell if it's in color or not because it's scrolling so fast and because there's not much color to begin with. But basically I'm just using the video input for now to feed it sync or Luma, and obviously chroma isn't going to the right, or it's not being used, because I'm pretty sure it's going to the right pin. I mean, where else could it go? Oh, you know what? I'm actually missing. Hold on. I haven't plugged it. Either came unplugged or I haven't plugged it in. Let me plug it in. Alright, so check this out. This is obviously not good, but this is when I have chroma connected, and if I unconnect chroma, we get like a glimpse of a clear Luma signal when it has proper V-hold, and then it starts scrolling. Okay, update to the update. I have a non-rolling Luma signal that is displaying now, and I'm afraid to put the breadboard down, but what I have right now is just ground and what I believe to be Luma connected, and Luma is going straight to the video input. Okay, so let's go around to the other side of the monitor and get a better look at this. Okay, so yeah, there's our Luma signal. When we get it focused with the camera there, you can see that is super sharp with like the text and everything. You can read everything way better. So the question is, how do we get it to use the chroma signal that I'm sending? So from my breadboard testing, I've basically figured out the red wire in my harness was supposed to be for Luma, and it's going to the, did I leave it on the video input or is it on? I wonder if it's on the sync separator input still. But I'm thinking, regardless, I'm thinking that that wire actually needs to be going to here, because this is the beginning of the video circuit, and so this is going to run through all the sync separators and anything else that's on the board, and it seems like it likes that since the sync is processing. So I'm going to move my red wire to here on the board, and then we just have to figure out color. I really don't know what's going on with that. I'm wondering if I actually have a bridge on my solder, or if I soldered to the wrong pin, because the pin that I'm trying to use for chroma is sure acting like it's a ground. So let's give that a closer look. Okay, so I was looking around on the back of the board here trying to figure out what was going on, and so you see that white wire, it's going right into pin 49, which is labeled as chroma, and I traced it around to see what it was connected to. So it's connected to that pad, this pad named TP801, and then it leaves this area on this pad right here that my fingernail is touching against. So I looked at the other side of the board to see what that pad was, and let's see, can I even get an angle on this with the camera? Let me turn the flashlight on too. Okay, come on. Alright, so you see the chroma chip right there? See that blue and orange dot in the middle of the chroma chip? That's a diode. It might even be a Zener, I don't know. And it's on these, they haven't clipped the legs at all. They've literally made it into a giant bridge that goes over the chroma chip to the other side and goes into some shit over there. I don't even know what it is. As far as I know, I don't even know why the chroma pin would be in use on this board or what that is. So my guess is that Zener diode is actually pulling my signal away. So I'm gonna go ahead and desolder it right here and just pull it out of circuit so that I have an isolated pin 49, and then we'll see if that makes any difference. And if it doesn't, then I'm probably gonna need to figure out what the hell that Zener diode is doing and which direction it is. I'm pretty sure it's in the direction away from pin 49, because when I was trying to find continuity from pin 49 to anything over here, I couldn't find it using the multimeter. So yeah, I don't know. There's the color. I just had to pull that stupid diode out, and just like I suspected, I have color over a fucking S-video now. How sick is that? Hold on, let's switch camera modes. Check that out. Manual focus. Looks like something, hold on. It looks like it needs to be calibrated because that should not be so blurry. That's weird, hold on. That's tint. That's brightness. That's saturation. That's tint. That's contrast. I don't know what is going on there, but I'm pretty sure that's just an adjustment issue. We gotta get the colors toned in here, but let's turn this thing around and try to get it calibrated. Okay, so I poked around in this thing and I managed to find a lot of nice adjustments in here, more so than I expected to find. I found a B+ adjustment, which let me basically resize the entire raster until I got a good H size. And then I found a V size adjustment pot to get that huge vertical overscan taken care of. And then I found some kind of, none of these pots were labeled, so I don't know what this one was, but it seemed to adjust contrast again. And between that and adjusting the drives on the neck and adjusting the knobs on the front, I got some really nice color saturation here and good color bars and good cutoff. And I'm super happy with it. It looks phenomenal. So let's test. Let's go to the scroll test so we can see Sonic, just like a still of Sonic. Looks pretty nice. Let me quit this. This is on my Wii, so I guess we'll test with some 480i GameCube games. I do have Legend of Zelda and Cruis'n USA on here, I think, from the N64, and those are 240p. Let's try Cruising USA first. And let's plug in the audio. Let me pause the camera. Okay, I got the audio plugged in. It's a little bit low so that I don't disturb everybody else is sleeping in the house right now, but let's start this up. You know, honestly, the convergence is good on this. I was afraid I was going to have to mess with that. The yoke is a little bit off center. I don't know if I want to bother with that adjustment or not. But yeah, something about this just reminds me of like how games used to look when I was a kid. Like the way this TV, the way this tube looks, it just reminds me of the TV I used to have as a kid. Alright, so we've still got some horizontal overscan in this. Cruising USA, yeah. I just want to get in game just to see. I'm not even holding the controller, but yeah, that looks pretty nice. Okay, this looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay, maybe it's just Cruising USA doesn't look... Maybe N64 doesn't look great off of a Wii. I normally don't test that way. But this looks great. I'm gonna actually pause the camera so I can take a picture of this. Alright, so that's the end of this video. I had a lot of fun working on this TV, and within a couple days of throwing it up on Craigslist, I found someone who was very excited to have it. So I'll be giving it to them pretty soon, and hopefully they'll be able to fix some of that damage on the top of the case. And anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.